What's up guys, BltzZ here today bringing you another video. In today's video we're going to be continuing where we left off on the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Make sure you guys check out the previous video on the top right to make sure you're all caught up with where we are currently in the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Thanks for the support on the previous video guys. This series is a ton of fun to make and I enjoy reading about you guys' thoughts and opinions, so let's keep it going. Now with all that being said, let's get into the video. Continue where we left off, Priscilla had just given us a Shiva materia which is more potent and powerful than the synthetic man-made one we originally got from Chadley. Someone in the comments mentioned that maybe the two materias could actually fuse together and create an even more powerful version of Shiva, a Neo Shiva basically. I don't know if that's possible, but hey, sign me up for it because I am totally down with more depth being added to summons overall. Priscilla tells us that she hears that we need to sneak into the Shinra parade. She tells us how to get up onto the upper level of Junon to get closer to the event. Her plan is to use Mr. Dolphin to make a person jump up to access the ladder up top and climb up to Junon. Everyone in the party unanimously chooses Cloud and walks away before he can say otherwise, in comedic fashion just like in the original game. Priscilla grabs Cloud and takes him to the beach and teaches him how to use Mr. Dolphin to get up to that ladder. All of this really repeats itself like how it did in the original game, yes I know, but some of this just might change and I cannot think of what direction they possibly could go in. It could just be boring and make us find a hidden area that leads to a staircase and takes us up into Junon, but where's all the fun in that when we can just jump on a damn dolphin instead? I mean, come on guys, that sounds more epic, right? So after Cloud gets up top of Junon, we infiltrate a Shinra base as Cloud solo. Cloud begins sneaking around and we hear a familiar voice telling us that he knew he'd find us here. Cloud immediately is surprised and goes into a battle stance. The camera pans over and shows us that Roche, the new soldier from Remake Part 1, is standing off against Cloud, while wearing soldier's second class gear, indicating that he's been upgraded from previously third class. The two are in the center of the heliport with no one else nearby. Roche begins to tell Cloud that he hasn't forgotten about their last encounter. As the two begin circling each other in a ready stance about to battle, Cloud tells him that he doesn't have time for this and for him to get out of his way. As the two are about to start fighting, an officer comes out of nowhere and yells and reprimands them for still being in their outfits and for them to switch into their uniforms for the parade. Both Cloud and Roche are being rushed to change into their Shinra attire. Cloud goes along with this because this could easily lead to him getting access to the Shinra boat Rufus will be on. Roche, while in the locker room, tells Cloud this isn't over yet and how the fun is only just now beginning. Everything follows the original game, including the learning the dance moves tutorial, but during this whole segment, Cloud and Roche are throwing jabs at each other and dodging each other's moves while the officers are looking away at other soldier members trying to get everyone in line. One can only imagine with how much detail they put into the Honeybee Inn segment that this portion could follow that interaction with way more detail. In the original game, this whole segment was jam-packed with the humorous side of Shinra with this whole wacky routine of dancing, and the game giving us a bomb if the routine sucks or 5,000 gil if it's amazing. Not to mention the second part where we do a close-up routine for Rufus and Heidegger. If that segment is done really well, then Rufus gives us a new weapon for Cloud, as if he already knew who he was and could tell exactly who that soldier was. Cloud sneaks onto the ship after the parade and Roche follows close behind. Once we're aboard the ship, we're treated to even more crazy humor of the rest of the party members doing their best to stay in disguises. Aerith, Tifa, and Yuffie are wearing the same Shinra gear as Cloud and the interactions are off the charts, with complete voice acting of their actors doing fake Shinra infantry voices trying to blend in. Red 13 in the original game was the funniest because he was trying his best to stand on two legs while wearing a disguise and looked absolutely ridiculous. But this time around, I don't see that being the case. I could totally see Red 13 instead posing or covering up as a Shinra guard dog, similar to how Darkstar is for Rufus. I'd love to see them keep Red in Shinra gear, but I don't see them doing that in Remake Part 2, but I'm all for it. Again, I'm all for it, Square, please do that. But of course, the best absolute disguise is none other than Barrett, who is wearing the good old sailor outfit. And oh my god, don't you just want to squeeze him and hold him close? No, just me? Alright, well, while we're on the ship, we could be tasked with eavesdropping on other Shinra soldier conversations to try and pinpoint exactly where Rufus and company are on the ship, as it's huge compared to what it was in the original game. A bunch of side missions could also be present with us having to team up with a party member to complete one task with them. Like for example with Yuffie, she has a bad seasickness and we have to find her some medicine to help her out. There could be other things like even Johnny could make an appearance as a stowaway, and with Tifa we're forced to just make sure that we save him and keep him from getting his ass beat or found by other guards. And then finally with Barrett, we're able to find Rufus and Heidegger and we listen in on their conversation. Then it's revealed that there are intruders on the boat and we all scatter thinking we've all been caught. But everyone meets up and no one's been caught. We hear from other Shinra members that a man in black cloak was spotted on the ship. Cloud immediately assumes that it's Sephiroth. We then choose our party and get ready to go searching for him. As we make our way through the boat, there are several obstacles in the way thanks to Jenova being present. They make tons of enemies for us to battle through, and we slowly make our way to the end of the boat dungeon. We come across a Sephiroth clone, maybe Marco, as he transforms into Sephiroth as we are getting ready for a battle. He then disappears and takes Aerith away with him. Aerith and Sephiroth are actually having a scene together at the edge of creation where they talk about what's to come. Aerith tells Sephiroth she knows of his plan and that he can't succeed. But then he reminds her that only 21.1% of people that watch and love these videos are currently subscribed. Guys, let's raise that number up and give yourself a chance to win a PlayStation 5. All subscribers have a chance at winning a PlayStation 5 giveaway that we currently have going on. Enter via the Gleam link in the pinned comments below to get your entries in, and don't miss out on that. Being a paid member on the channel gives you bonus entries to the giveaway and increases your chances of winning. Also, being a member gives you awesome emojis, an upgradable materia next to your name, also whenever you comment on the channel and attend our live streams. We're going to be doing giveaways every month, so don't miss out on them, guys, and stay subscribed and stay tuned for more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. But then he reminds her that they defeated the Whispers, so anyone's fate can be changed in this universe, and Aerith's whole mood is changed. We were thinking that we just might be in a solo fight of Aerith versus Sephiroth, but Cloud, because he has been to the edge of creation before, comes out of nowhere and saves Aerith, which pulls her back to the party in the real world. Sephiroth drops a piece of Jenova, and we are to fight a boss battle here. In the middle of the boss battle, Cloud is unaware of an attack coming in from Jenova and almost gets struck, but Roche, who snuck up on the boat, came in last second and deflected that attack for Cloud and says he's not dying or being taken out by anyone other than him. Barrett says, "Who the hell is this guy?" and the gang defeats Jenova with the help of Roche. Roche sees that he's outnumbered and backs off of the party and tells him that his beef is only with Cloud and that they'll settle their dance another day. He also tells Cloud that he owes him one, and Cloud scoffs but smiles right back at him, signifying he acknowledges their rivalry. Once we defeat that battle, Aerith is shaken up and her demeanor is completely changed. The party talks about what just happened, and then all of a sudden, the Junon ship announces its arrival to Casa de Sol, and the party makes their way off of the ship. After all of those serious moments, the party finally arrives to Casa de Sol to realize just how beautiful it is. Upon entering Casa de Sol's beach, we are treated to Hojo awkwardly deep in thought, pondering about the Whispers and what they could mean out loud. But Hojo is actually a celebrity to many people since he is a world-renowned scientist, so he has groupies naturally, who flock to him on the beach and are fighting over who gets to put lotion on his cheeks. The party tries to confront him, but Hojo is just unbothered by their presence and completely in his own world. He finally acknowledges them, but doesn't really care that they are present and continues to mumble to himself. The party's mood is shifted all about this, and Tifa convinces them that they still all could have a great time, so they do just that. We're able to do various excursions with party members before we finally are prompted to continue, so the gang decides that they should take a break here and just relax to regain their composure. Here we get tons of fan service pushing us on a path to explore Casa de Sol with different party members, and even the separate love interests of Final Fantasy VII with Tifa and Aerith. Maybe a side mission with Tifa explaining to us her love for dolphins and how she wishes she could swim with one. So we go on an excursion to find dolphins and fulfill Tifa's wishes. Unfortunately, Johnny makes an appearance and decides to cockblock the holy hell out of Cloud in full-on bro mode. But Tifa finally gets fed up with Johnny and is brutally honest with him, telling him to beat it, which completely goes over his head naturally, and he carries on, leaving the two of them alone. And with Aerith, maybe she's never learned how to swim, and we take the time to teach her how to swim, and we get a tender moment of Cloud and Aerith opening up to each other in one of those old-fashioned Square Enix moments, making us Clarith and Clothy shippers fight amongst each other. Casa de Sol could be a bunch of these things, or even more, since it was such a tiny portion of the original game, but it's packed with tons of little moments I think Square can properly exploit to give us a great segment everybody will remember. And after Casa de Sol, we are introduced to the second continent of Final Fantasy VII. This continent has the Gold Saucer, Mount Coral, Cosmo Canyon, Nibelheim, Rocket Town, and Gongaga. But thanks to the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, we could get very well many more other towns or little villages to explore. After Casa de Sol, the gang realizes Barrett has been off ever since they docked and has been keeping to himself and deep in thought. Aerith brings this up as they are making their way to Mount Coral, and Barrett flips out on them, telling them to leave him alone. As they get closer, they find a reactor near Coral, and Barrett finally begins telling them about this area, but not too much detail, just enough to answer their question as to why it's there. Aerith asks how does he know so much about this, and he just keeps on moving ahead, not saying a word. We finally make it into Mount Coral, and the townspeople recognize Barrett immediately and start getting scared and angry at the sight of him. One guy flat out punches Barrett, and the party is shocked to see that Barrett doesn't even try to stop him at all. Barrett leaves the party and goes on ahead, and we're able to explore a small tiny portion of Mount Coral and hear slight information about their backstory. As we get through Coral, we regroup with Barret at the Gold Saucer Skyrail, and he begins to tell us a story about his town Coral. We're taken through this flashback, but we don't really get to play any part of this segment. It just fills us in on the story elements about Barret and why the town hates him, and gives us key information about Marlene's true father Dyne, and we also get to see Marlene's mother and who she actually is, which we never really get to see before. After Barret's story, Cloud realizes Barret is uneasy and decides to tell the party, let's move on to the Skyrail and go on to the Gold Saucer. As we finally enter the Gold Saucer, Aerith is trying to spark up everyone's morale and tries to entice Barret to play some games with them. Simultaneously, Johnny of all people makes another appearance and tries to butt into the party. He and Aerith start talking about all the fun events going on that they could all attend, and slowly we see Barret getting angrier and angrier. Then eventually he explodes and flips out on us, telling us that we could do whatever the hell we want and he can give two shits about the party, and runs off without us. Red 13 suggests that we leave him be and let him cool down and explore the Gold Saucer a little bit. As we wander around, there are tons, and I mean tons of mini games we could participate in, and Johnny is tagging along with us similarly to how he did in Chapter 9, with Cloud providing lots of humor and annoying dialogue to get under Cloud's skin. Eventually, we make our way through one section, and there is a moment where, similar to how in Chapter 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, where we are walking down the street and Aerith is in full focus of the camera the whole time. A similar event occurs, and it's that bastard Cait Sith riding a Moogle. As we walk closer to him, while Johnny is talking over everything, the camera continues to focus on Cait Sith the whole time. Cait Sith eventually inserts himself into our conversation and asks if it's okay for him to check our fortune. Cloud tries to brush him off, but Johnny insists that he does, and Cait Sith goes about it anyways, just like in the original game. Cait Sith joins the party because he said that that fortune that they receive is something that he must see through personally, and the party reluctantly allows him to walk inside and stay inside of Cloud, just like in the original game. We make our way over to the battle arena, and everyone is laying on the floor riddled with bullets and blood. The party puts two and two together and thinks this could be the work of Barret, but are confused as to why he would react this way. As they decide to move forward, they are shouted out by someone to stay right where they are, and the camera pans behind them, and it's Speedo Dio in his oily-chested greatness, telling the party that they've been caught red-handed and to remain still. The party complies, but as Cloud is about to draw his sword, Johnny screams and begins running and causing confusion amongst everyone. Cait Sith also tries to make a run for it, and the party ends up following him into the arena, and they are captured and taken down a hole deep below, leading to the prison town below the Gold Saucer. And that wraps it up for this video, guys. That was a pretty fun one to brainstorm, and I think we can get a totally different product from when Remake Part 2 drops. But still, this could follow along the same lines, and I think we could have some nice changes to go along with it. Let me know what you guys think about this version of Remake Part 2 in the comments below. Keep the comments flowing and let me know how you guys would rather let things play out, or let me know some of the things I may have missed. In the previous video, someone mentioned that maybe Biggs and Wedge could be at Fort Condor, and this would have given Avalanche a little bit more backstory. It's something that I regret missing out and talking about, but this would have had to work with Cloud them spending enough time in Calm for Biggs and Wedge to eventually pass them and the Midgar Zolom to make it into Fort Condor before they do, which I think would have to unfold in a very different way. Another thing also was that Cait Sith, I think, in Remake Part 2 might appear earlier in the story in Junon instead of the Gold Saucer, as it makes more sense since Reeve is Shinra and he's controlling Cait Sith. They would have a chance to meet up in Junon. But I decided to go with the Roche story arc, as that could provide some more fun interactions later on in the story. That finishes up Part 2 for our Remake Part 2 storyline, guys, and how I think things will go. Part 3 is going to be coming soon, and I think you guys will really love where things are going with that one. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy VII Remake videos are coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.